Hello, scrapbookers and creative friends. I'm Linda Petuch. I'm a Creative Memories Independent Advisor in Jupiter, Florida. Welcome back, or welcome to Thursday's Thoughts. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. The link is down below, and then you can click that little bell, and you'll be able to get notified whenever I post another video. So today I am going to show you some layouts that I made using the National Scrapbook Day collection from 2024, but I also dipped into my stash a little bit and I looked at the color palette, which is something you can consider. Look at the color palette of whatever theme it is you're working on, and then check your stash and see what other things you have that might coordinate with that. So that's what I did, and I'm so excited to show you. I had a lot of fun playing with mushrooms and gnomes and wild creatures, and I call what we're doing today Woodland Whimsy. So let's take a look at what I did. Now, Creative Memories Project Recipe for National Scrapbook Day or for Croptoberfest, they always have a cutting guide for you, and the easiest way to do this is to take the paper and cut, and then use a little sticky note and label and pile each thing as you cut. But I'll be very honest, I have looked at this and I looked at the beautiful layouts that they made, but I didn't spend a lot of time. I haven't even created my samples yet for my scrapbookers who are coming for my National Scrapbook Day, because I'm one of those people who when I order something that needs to be assembled, I try assembling it first, and then if I need help, I look at the instructions after I count the parts and stuff. But what I decided to do is not be influenced so much by this, but just to look at my punches and the color scheme and the palette that this National Scrapbook Day has, and then I pulled some other things. So I pretty much used 2 project recipe kits. That's the beauty of being an advisor. I live in a scrapbook store, so if you want to talk to me about that, you get a percentage back, and you have the stash that you can just, oh, I messed up. That's okay. I'll go get another one. So I used most of what was in the pack. I only have a couple embellishments left, a few of the matte packs left. But you can see there was 2 stickers sheets, and I only have a few pieces left here. So I did use this palette, National Scrapbook Day, but then I also looked at that palette and I decided that National Scrapbook Day from 2022 had some beautiful frames, laser cut frames that I liked, and so you'll see that I've incorporated some of these. This one I didn't use yet, but I'm not quite finished, so I could add that later. And then also I looked at the Croptoberfest, and I liked some of the elements here because I was thinking woodlands. I thought, oh, this would be lovely. So you'll see that I used a couple of these. And because we have, blues in this palette, I went for this one. I didn't use this one this time, and I also used a couple of stickers off of here. Not too many, but you can see that is in the palette. And as I said, I could add some more and make some more pages. So let me show you what I came up with. These papers for the National Scrapbook Day are so beautiful, and this one sheet is a very busy paper. But if you mat your photos like this, you still get that feeling of the woodland mushrooms. But that way you have a nice calm place to match your photos. I decided to round the corners on this one. I don't always, but with the flower and so forth, I thought I would echo that, the rounded mushroom. This is a mat. Excuse me, a mat that I put the bear embellishment on top of. This is a mushroom embellishment, little embellishments or stickers rather, that I popped up on foam squares. This little embellishment I popped up as well. And this was from National Scrapbook Day 2022, but look at how beautifully that goes with the color palette. So look at what you have and see what you can combine. So there's one. The next one, this is also National Scrapbook Day 2022, and I decided to use this as a frame. Now, when it's time to put photos in here, I do make a note like this to myself. Use the custom cutting system, the large circle with the red blade inside, so I know that I can cut 3 photographs and put them here, and they'll be surrounded by these adorable little raccoons. And of course, I'll have to put pictures of people I am wild about in here. No problem, easy to do. And after I put this on here, I thought I needed a little touch at the corner. So I love this particular Border Maker cartridge. It is called Ribbon Wave Chain. I think it's one of the most beautiful and graceful ones they've ever created for us. So what I did was I punched it, but then I cut it into sections, and then I folded it over to make a little lattice work in the corner. And there's that, just to add my photographs. The next one, again, National Scrapbook Day 2022, and you see that I have made notes for myself for when I'm ready to add the photos. A 5 by 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 will fit in here, and this is popped up so I can put the pictures underneath. And this would be a 3 3/4 square photo, but this just truly screams Woodland Whimsy to me. This little laser cut border down here that I added the National Scrapbook Day 2024 to, this was from 2022. But you see the palettes are just gorgeous together. There's that one. Here's that frame, actually 2 frames from 2022 National Scrapbook Day. This lattice here, and I did back it. I put, this didn't have sticky, so I put repositional tape on that, but I know that I'm going to have to cut a 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 photograph to go in here. But this will be for a very special photograph with this beautiful frame, and also then the lattice work around the edge to frame the photo even more. I love this, and this is National Scrapbook Day 2024 paper that I put in the back. Here's another one, Foxy Woxy on here. These colors are so pretty together. The oranges and blues I talked about in my last video, how those are complementary colors. And look at how gorgeous they look together. I like that. And then I did make, this will just have 2 photographs, but I do have place here for journaling. If I decide I don't want to journal, I can just go ahead and put another photo on there. No problem. And I have, yes, and I have already matted that. And this is National Scrapbook Day. Actually, this is all National Scrapbook Day 2024. This one page, all National Scrapbook Day 2024 papers and embellishments and borders. Now, what would a trip to the woodlands be without gnomes? We have to have those little gnomes. So I used the Creative Memories gnome punch. This was from December. We have this. And so I made a border, and of course, as you see, did this for a double page spread. I made the border here with the gnomes, and I punched the borders out of this National Scrapbook Day paper, which has this background. So I used what I love to call the dynamic duo. That is the lifter stick. After I punched it out, I could pick up these little beards, which is the flip side. Flip side of this would be the beards. And then you use the precision point adhesive, which if you haven't used it before, you do need to squeeze it a little bit to have the glue come out. Let me just show you that. Just squeeze a little bit like that. And then you see that little puddle? That's the glue that you'll then pick up your piece with the lifter stick. With the lifter stick, you can then pop it right on top of that liquid glue. So that's how I did this. I created 4 by 6 mats here. This is all the National Scrapbook Day 2024. All of this is all the paper and embellishments. I did, however, decide that I wanted something at the top. So I used the Crystal Chain Border Maker cartridge, Crystal Chain up here. You can see this is the mushroom punch, which came with our National Scrapbook Day. I just love it. And I had pulled out this grass punch, but I actually ended up going with the Border Maker cartridge grass because it's shorter. And I didn't need such long grass on there. So I just did that just to add a touch of green to brighten that up a little bit. And then of course these are the embellishments. But I have a journal box here, and as you can see, I have room for 4 nice photographs there. But I didn't stop with these gnomes. Wait till you see what else. Because we have that punch. The Creative Memories also has this wonderful gnome bundle, they call it, and it's all the seasons of the year. So I pulled out my little my welcome spring gnomes, and I didn't embellish every one of them. I think that might be overkill, and I want to have them for the next time. So what I did, this is National Scrapbook Day paper 2024 and embellishments. I punched some more grass, but I used the National Scrapbook Day paper. I really like the texture and design it gave to the grass here. And this was not the Border Maker cartridge. This is the longer one. So I used the standalone punch for grassland. And then what I did was, from these embellishments, I added beards or hats, And I didn't do it on the same, a hat and a beard on the same one so that I could spread it out more. Then I took a couple of the little butterfly embellishments from here, added them on. You know, I love to make those little lines as they're skimming along and flying along. So there they are in the woodlands waiting for your pictures. And I didn't want to decide how many pictures I want to put here. I'm going to wait to see what I have, but I just am crazy about these little gnomes. So on my next layout, I decided I wanted to cut a frame out. The flip side of this paper, let me see if I can turn it over for you. Maybe the flip side of this paper is what I put in the middle. So I cut a 1.5 inch frame with the 12-inch trimmer, and then I flipped it over. The cutout part I flipped over and made a mat for my photo mats. These are 4x4, so I'll have to trim my photos a little bit below that 3 3/4 square. And then I've added an embellishment, which I've popped up so your photo can go right underneath there. For those of you who haven't seen how to make a frame out of here, I do want to demonstrate that. If you already know how to do that, feel free to just fast forward past this. So what you want to do, the housing on our 12-inch trimmer has a cutting line here, which would be 1 inch. The housing itself is 2 inches. So I added some measurements here. This would be cutting at 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, 1/2 inch. So what you're going to do is you're just going to start, you line it up. If I'm making a 1.5 inch, or let's make a 1 inch frame. So I would line this up at 1. You have to look sideways, and you're going to line up the cutting blade at 1, and you're going to stop down here at 11 because this has 12 inches on here, so we're going to leave 1 inch. So you just stop down here at 11, and then turn, line it up again at 1 inch, stop at 11, turn it. Now, if this was designer paper, you would have 2 different designs on there. But oftentimes, if you just want to make a frame, I didn't cut that exactly right, but you see, easy to rectify. All right, so I could use this frame for another page if I wanted to. Okay, so you have a frame here, but then you also have this. So it's another nice way to, number 1, save paper, and number 2, it lessens the weight, lowers the weight of your pages, because when you add a lot of cardstock and so forth, it can tend to get a little bit heavier, and we don't want to have to go to weightlifting classes to be able to lift our albums. But you can see what a pretty design that is, and how that really finishes it and saves paper. On this next design, I wanted to play a little bit with a little corner embellishment, because I really wanted that fox, and it just kind of lent itself to being down in the corner. So what I did was I cut 2 pieces of contrasting paper that I wanted to work together. Let me just show you how I did that. So I'm going to punch leaves out of this, so the blue is going to be my base. So all I did was put this in it's cut 8x8 square. And then I took the square that I cut, and I lined it up. Our cutting line is here and here. And remember, with this wonderful trimmer, that if you're not sure where it's cutting, you can line it up we have these little sight lines right here. And you can get it right exactly where you need it to be. It's just tucked there out of the way when you don't need it. But you line it up exactly. And then you cut that in half, and they have a beautiful diagonal triangle. Let's do the same thing with our greens. This is a very bright lime. It's called lime green. Very bright, but if you know me, I really love bright colors. I just love colors in general. Let's double check. It's worth the time. There it is. Okay, line it up exactly. Okay, once you have those pieces cut, then you get out the punch. Now this is going to be my base, and I'm going to be punching on the green. So what I did, this is not, it really wasn't good math or anything. I just started in the middle and I eyeballed it. You could measure it if you wanted to. You can see through the punch here. I put it here to see it, but I took it to the edge and squeezed it a little bit so it's not going to move. And then I do flip it over so all those pieces of paper don't get stuck in there. Once you've done that first one, then you can start just lining it up. Or maybe you can't. Oh, you have to turn it over. Because I turned over the paper. There we go. That makes more sense. Okay, so now punch. Line it up again. Let's go over to the right. Make sure that when you're punching with this, you want to make sure that you push up here. Make sure that it's against that edge. This is such a pretty punch. This is called, what is it called? Spring Leaves. This was one of our newest punches. It's a beauty. All right. So here we have a springy leaf punch. And when you place it onto a contrasting color, it makes a really beautiful corner embellishment, which then you can add more to. You could put journal. I could have put the journal box there, but I really wanted the fox and the mushrooms there. But I thought that would be a lot of fun. Of course, you could put it anywhere you want on there. You could double it if you want. I even thought about that, and then just maybe put 3 4x4 photos down the middle. Whatever makes you happy. But I thought that would be a nice little twist on something different. Now the next design I want to show you, I used the custom cutting system and I used one of our frame punches. This is one called Petal Frame and Border. And the whole reason I wanted to do this because I saw this embellishment and it just screamed title page to me. So I cut a little stick to make it look like it was a signpost. I added 2 embellishments here. These are all popped up on the hedgehog and the flowers are all popped up on foam squares. But here's what I did first. The order that I did this for stability, the first thing I did was I took my 12x12 cardstock and I punched the frame punch all the way around the edge. And remember, when you're doing the frame punch, excuse me, you're going to look at the silver lines that are on the wings of the punch, because that's how you line it up. And again, you just match the picture and then just keep turning it until you get to the end. All right, so I did that first so it would be stable. Then I took the hexagon from the custom cutting system and I cut out the center part I used the one I wanted it as the closest to the groove, which is the red blade. So I cut out this, which made the perfect little stage for this beautiful little embellishment. And so then I created the embellishment and then I put it onto the paper. And then I looked at these corners and I thought, that would be, you could cut some circles, some round photos, maybe like 2-inch circle photos. You could put 4 photos here. But I thought in the interim, let me add a little bit of decoration and I'll bring that orange from the back to the front here. So I used our brand new little fresh flower. Looks like a little beautiful drop flower. And because it punches out the confetti and leaves it open, I wanted to have a base, and again to bring that orange in, I used this. This punch was from last year's. It's called Scallop Circle 3-in-1, and you look over here. You can look, and circle number 1 was the one I wanted because it's a solid one. So I punched out 4 of those. You know, this you have to push this down a little bit, and then you can move it to the different cuts, and then lock it. But for number 1 is the one I wanted. So I cut 4 of those, and then I used the repositionable tape to pop it on top of the orange. And I didn't put these on foam squares because I was thinking that I could remove these. I could get my multi-purpose tool and possibly remove these if I decided to put photos, but I could also just sacrifice them and put photos on top of it if I didn't want to, if I didn't want to remove them. But that way it is ready to go, and I think it's a lovely title page, or a page that can talk about an exploration you were doing and show you exploring 4 different photographs. Now, the last layout I have for you is one that I did some folding on, but it's not the normal way I fold. I have a whole video about folding paper, and I usually use designer paper, but I wanted to see if it would work with the cardstock. So I used the hot fudge cardstock, and I scored this at like 1.5 inches. I used my scoring blade, and I scored it and then folded it, and I wanted to have a background that would show the picket fence. So this is the National Scrapbook Day 2024. I love this beautiful wood grain. In green, I thought that would be a beautiful contrast on there. And I wanted that brown space underneath so that when I put the mushroom border sticker, that it would stick out, stand out, and look and complement it there. This little drop flowers, that is from 2022 National Scrapbook Day. And then, of course, these are from our current National Scrapbook Day. This is the brown base that you see. It's on, oh, sorry, no, it's on green. It's on green. This is the folded piece. You see, it would not have been 12 inches because I folded it up at the base. So I had to put it on another piece of cardstock, which, you know, if you use drop-in pockets, you've already got a base page there to start working with. But in the interim, so I have this here. You can see a little bit of the green coming through. So I added a strip of blue from this strip of baby blue cardstock, and then put my embellishments up here at the top rather than at the base. And I'm ready. Again, I didn't put any mats for photos. I did pull this because I thought that might make a nice journal mat. Can be put somewhere on here, just depending on what pictures I decide to put. I wanted to use the picket fence too because if you bought the original Border Maker cartridge system, this is the punch or the cartridge, I should say, that you get with it, okay? And if you don't have a scoring blade, you need to treat yourself because when you're doing any folding, it really helps you make a very definite straight line. And it really worked well with the cardstock. I had to push, several times. I had to go over several times, but I think it makes a really nice effect. And that page is ready to go. It's something a little bit different. Thank you so much for traveling through my Woodland Whimsy with me. I hope you enjoyed that. I want you to remember to check your stash because look at the palette, the color palette, and see what colors go together. So you can use up some of that stash so you have room to buy more. That would be fun. Now, don't forget that if you don't have an advisor, I would love to be your advisor. If you're not near Jupiter, Florida, that's okay. We have Zoom. We can Zoom and we can FaceTime. So I would love to be your advisor. If you haven't subscribed, I ask you to please do so. And also click that little bell so you'll know when I have another video posted. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments. I am happy to answer those questions if I can, or I'll find out the answer for you if I don't know it myself. Thank you again for stopping by. Enjoy all these beautiful National Scrapbook Day papers. And thank you once again for watching. Goodbye for now.